Hi guys, welcome to our channel. We look like twins today.
Yes, all black.
Exactly, ready for a funeral. We talking about
3 books that we will recommend to you guys.
Yeah.
These are non-fiction books that kind of helped us in our late teens and our early 20s to help us navigate our lives.
My first book is this book called Educated by Tara Westover. So I came across this book first on the Bill Gates' reading list. I think it was the 2019 reading list. And I was very intrigued by that. And I checked it out and it had pretty good reviews on it. It's about like 4.7 star on Amazon, I think. It's about this lady, this girl, who is from like a Mormon background, and she's trying to basically go against her family and pursue her education. So her family obviously is against all of this because growing up she didn't even have like her birth certificate, medical records. They were just very unknown to the world and preparing for like the end of the days. Well, obviously she had to like go against all of that, all of her growing up beliefs. She landed in schools like Harvard and Cambridge, which was like really impressive considering she never had any like high school education and stuff. She was homeschooled by her mom who believes in like herbal medicines and stuff. So this is really interesting. It's fascinating because just to see the willpower in someone to grow so exponentially, even though she didn't have the support and resources
From like traditional education system.
Exactly. She just says it how it is, and that's what I like about this book. And it's a very motivational read. That if you want some motivation in your life and a very gripping and fun read, then this might be the one for you.
Next book, I actually don't have it because I returned it back to the library, but it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving. So I actually wrote a little bit of notes on the book because I tend to forget what I read sometimes.
Yeah.
So basically it's a self-development book, right? I think like it's definitely a book that a lot of people can read and relate to because it's about not really caring about what the people are saying and kind of just like going ahead with what you believe in. There's just like a few quotes that I would like to read. It talks about the Manson's law of avoidance. The more something threatens your identity, the more you avoid it. And also they have a do something principle, so you have to always do something. Don't always wait for inspiration, but like do something, and the act of doing it will also then create inspiration and motivations.
Right, so my second book is this book called Nothing to Envy. It might be a little bit outdated because I was so young when I got this and it was my first dive into like non-fiction. I was at the airport and I was about to board the plane and that made me feel like such an adult reading about the world crisis and stuff.
Dictatorship and communism.
So the author writes about the lives of ordinary like people in North Korea and how they've lived so far there. She's interviewing basically defectors of North Korea who've now resided in like South Korea. Like an American book like Gone with the Wind would be banned over there.
Like 1984 from George Orwell.
Yeah, this is basically
but in
like
real
that.
life.
Yeah. So it's really fun to see that side of the world where it's very secretive. These are just basically like short stories about many lives in North Korea. So they really loved the life there because they didn't know any better and this was it.
So, I just want to say people that like go away from North Korea to South Korea, like, I don't like it there sometimes. But
exactly.
Cool.
But at the same time, because of certain circumstances, like they had like a terrible famine situation where there was lack of food at one point, and since then it's just been like really bad for them. They were struggling to even like feed one another. Everyone has like an underlying reasons behind why they do things. It's not like they don't like their homes just because of situations. Obviously it was written by like a third person who acts as a novelist for the stories and stuff, but she's written it in such a like a gripping way that it just makes you want to like find more out. It's very enlightening, very eye-opening. I would suggest to anyone who's more interested into the secretive world of North Korea.
Yeah, this book is called The Courage to be Disliked by a Japanese writer who I am not going to try to pronounce.
Ichiro
Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. First of all, it is a very interesting writing format that they use. The whole book is basically a conversation. It is a conversation with a young boy and a philosopher. He's asking all these big life existential questions. Existential questions that he has for this philosopher, and he's basically using this theory of Alfred Adler. From the title itself, it was a very gripping book, and I was really interested in it, and it did not disappoint actually. So it almost covered every aspect of life, I think, because when I read this book, I was in my late teens, I'd say, and it really did resonate with me because a lot of the questions that the boy in this book was asking, I had that question too, about like caring about what people think, like how do you achieve freedom. And one of the lines that he did say was that you will achieve freedom in your life when you basically have the courage to be disliked, when you do not care if other people like you or not, and you're doing what makes you happy. Dives into life and happiness and freedom and like your mental health and everything. So it's a really great read.
And my last book for today is Great Thinkers. I think this one is School of Life as well, actually. So you know this is a great book. Right, so whenever someone's trying to get into philosophy or just learn a bit more about like the world, politics, I don't know, anything really, I usually recommend this book because it's such a beginner friendly book that anyone can get into. It's kind of illustrated with photos. Yeah, so it gives you an illustrations of all the philosophers. It's jam-packed with loads of information of all the arts from Eastern to Western cultures. Yeah, so I really love this book. So if you want to kind of widen your knowledge on anything, you can just...
It's a great book to reference back on as well. And it also starts from like the oldest philosopher and goes to like the current ones, which is so sick.
Yeah, it just opened my eyes to like a lot of different things that people make, you know, current references to, like from the past. You know, sometimes you don't know what they mean if you haven't studied psychology or philosophy. And then this book has definitely been that, you know, conversation starter for me, just to gain more competence in these conversations and these pop culture references. So I think this is a great book to start with, and I'd highly recommend that to any young readers out there.
The book that I wanted to recommend was The Psychopath Test by Jon Ronson. So I actually heard about Jon Ronson when I was going through YouTube and I found his TED Talk. What this book is about is his journey of this research that he's been doing with psychopaths. It was a really interesting read because it kind of taught me that different traits of psychopaths, first things first, of how they do not have like the ability of feeling remorse. Also the fact that it's actually very apparent in our everyday life that we come across one. Like 1% of our population has psychopaths, and that's like 1 out of 100 people. So that is quite a big number, I have to say. And how it is more common than you think, like how they are super intelligent, super hardworking, super driven. They're always looking for things that kind of excites them. So these can be in everyday lives with people who have jobs like CEO or doctors or anything like that. But these people who are aware that they have that trait, they kind of go to doctors or any professionals to seek help to tame down these traits or anything. So those were like all super fascinating facts that I found out about it, and it's good to apply in everyday life. So you kind of like, you wouldn't obviously read the book and be able to diagnose anyone straight off like that, but then you'll know more about it. And yeah, it was really cool read.
Right, so these were all of our official reads for our 20.
This is a honorable mention, which is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. This is such a funny book, you guys. Basically talks about his life growing up in South Africa. He's basically born a crime because he's mixed race.
So my honorable mention would be Michelle Obama's Becoming book. Check it out, guys. I hope you liked our video. I hope you liked all of the books we recommended. You can always find all of the links on the description below.
To reading, guys.
Yeah, get reading, and I hope you enjoy reading as much as we do. Bye, everyone.